Perfect.
All right, everybody, what is going on, man? How y'all doing? Everybody come in and get comfortable. Welcome to another edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the SWAC, see what else coming at you. And as you can see from the title, and I know you done heard by now because this has been something that's been talked about for weeks, and finally got a conclusion to it. The roller coaster ride on the TSU coaching search has come to a close, and I'm happy because I don't even like to ride roller coasters. So I'm glad this ride is over. Cris Dishman is now the head coach at Texas Southern. His name came up earlier in the search, but obviously he wasn't the guy that most people thought. Then Andre Johnson was supposed to be the guy, and now we're here. So we're gonna just kind of talk about who he is and what he brings to the table, and just go from there. But before we do all of that, man, y'all make sure y'all hit those socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76, Instagram is SWAC Talk. If you have any suggestions or topics you'd like to have covered on the show, you could hit the email swagtalk76@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We almost at 1,200 subscribers, man. I thank y'all for helping us reach this number, and any number we get to beyond this. I thank y'all for it wholeheartedly. And also, don't forget to like the video, share it, comment your thoughts on this hire, and what you expect from TSU moving forward. You can become a member of the channel by hitting the join button, or you can hit the super thanks to show support that way, or you can donate directly to the Cash App, $SWAG Talk. Anything would be appreciated. And one last thing before we get started, man, I am now a member of the Fansided family. I am a contributing content. I'm gonna start contributing content to the Bustin' Brackets website, bustinbrackets.com. So I'm going to be writing a lot of SWAC basketball stuff, so make sure y'all check me out. I'm always post my links and stuff on my socials. So once my content start rolling out there, y'all can check me out there. Just trying to expand my brand and just kind of put myself out there. So I went for it, and I'm here. So we're going to start to do a little bit of basketball writing in the near future. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and talk about this hire. Texas Southern brings in Cris Dishman. He is now the 18th head coach in the history of Texas Southern football. Gonna read a couple quotes from an article that was on the TSUsports.com website. So we're gonna just kind of get some thoughts from a couple people. Cris Dishman is an experienced football coach whose accomplishments as a player and coach make him an excellent choice to lead our football program into the future. Said Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics, Dr. Kevin Granger. Even more important, he is a man of character who, in his own words, seeks to make his players into better brothers, fathers, and husbands. I appreciate the Board of Regents' bold, strategic approach to finding new opportunities to elevate Texas Southern University. I look forward to working with Coach Dishman to bring new levels of success to Texas Southern football. And that, like I said, that quote comes from Athletic Director Kevin Granger. Also in this article, we have a quote from the Board of Regents Chairman Brandon L. Simmons, and it states the Board of Regents is thrilled to welcome head coach Cris Dishman to Texas Southern University. Coach Dishman is an experienced coach, professional football player, and businessman. We are excited to see his leadership lead to wins and his mentorship contribute to student success. We appreciate Dr. Granger and Interim President Dr. Mary Evans-Sia's leadership of this deliberate process. The hire will be the first of many across our campus in 2024 that continue to improve the university's ability to deliver education and economic opportunity for TSU students. I'm not gonna go too much into either one of those statements. One thing that just stands out to me is the fact that they called this a deliberate process. This was far from deliberate. I guess you can call it deliberate because it took a long time, but this was, this was, from all accounts, this search was not meant to be like this. I could be wrong, but from everything that came around, this was not a take my time and get my guy type of thing, so I know you gotta say those kind of things in press releases, so I'm not gonna really harp on it too much, but I thought that just kind of stood out to me a little bit, because this situation was far from cut and dry, was far from well thought out. It was just far from that anything that could be considered a great search. Now, that's no indictment against Coach Dishman. We're gonna definitely see what he can do. So I'm excited for that, and I'm glad to not have to talk about this part of it anymore. We can talk about what he brings to the table and his approach moving forward. But he did have a quote in this press release. He said, I want everyone in Tigerland to know that we are going to put together a good team, a good staff, and everyone has to do their job and be all in for TSU football. That's from Coach Dishman. Just a brief statement in the press release. But let's take a look at who he is and where he came from. Number one, he is 58 years old. He was born in Louisville, Kentucky. He went to Purdue, where he played football at Purdue. He was drafted in the NFL in the 5th round, pick 125 in the 1988 draft. He played for the Houston Oilers from 88 to 96. He played for the Redskins from 97 to 98. He played for the Chiefs in 1999 and the Vikings in 2000. Really, really solid, really good player. He was a guy who had some great years in Houston. Finished his NFL career as a first team All Pro in 1991. He was a second team All Pro in 1997. He made the Pro Bowl 2 times in 91 and 97. He finished with 739 tackles, 43 interceptions, 15 forced fumbles, and 3 touchdowns. So as you can see, he had a really, really good career, especially in his time in Houston. That's where where he made his name at. And he joins fellow Houston Oilers, Bubba McDowell and Eddie Robinson in the SWAC. So 3 guys who played for the Houston Oilers are now coaching in the SWAC. So that's something that you can kind of take and look at. But his coaching career began in 2004 when he became the defensive back coach of the Berlin Thunder, who played in the NFL Europe. Then he went to Menlo College in 2005 as the defensive back coach, and then he moved up to the defensive coordinator there from 06 to 07. He went back to the NFL in 2008, where he served as assistant defensive back coach for the Chargers from 08 to 2012. He was out of football for a minute. Then he went to Baylor in 2015 to 2016 as the defensive back coach. 2017, he spent time in the Bill Walsh NFL Diversity Coaching Fellowship. 2018, he went to the CFL to coach defensive backs for the Montreal Alouettes. In 2020, he was the defensive back coach for the New York Guardians in the XFL. He coached defensive backs at IMG Academy in 2021. And then in 2022, he went to the USFL, where he coached the New Jersey Generals. He was the defensive coordinator there. Then he coached with the Vegas Vipers in 2003 with the defensive coordinator there. So he has a lot of pro experience. And he, like I said, last year was in the XFL for the Vegas Vipers. But he has a lot of pro experience, not a lot of college experience. But a guy like this is gonna bring, especially he is a defensive guy. He spent his whole time coaching defensive backs. Had a couple stints as a defensive coordinator. So not like I said, not a lot to really kind of wet your whistle with. But he's a guy who has been around, and he's built up some tenure in the NFL. He has those connections. It's going to be interesting to see how he does on the college level because he only has a couple years of college coaching experience, and this is obviously his first time being a head coach. So it's gonna be, this is gonna be a nice journey to see where he goes. What kind of staff he puts together. Um, you know, what's his philosophy gonna be? With his offense. As far as coordinator that he hires. How is he gonna handle the defense? Is he gonna be a guy who kind of has his hands in that, or he's gonna play a CEO type of role? I think the first thing that he has to do is he has to stabilize the program. Have to make sure he keeps guys around. He has to evaluate the team. He has to start to recruit, and hopefully with this going to be a quick turnover for signing day, but there was a lot of guys in the portal, so you can always kind of go that route. Um, Texas Southern, they had a solid season in 2022. Just missed out on the SWAC championship game last season. They were favorites by many to win the division. Had a snake bit season where they just constantly found ways to not win games. And now they're in this situation. So, um, as a name, is not necessarily a name that is gonna make people, shout from the rooftops. But this could be a good hire. I mean, obviously he's a guy who's been in the area. He's been around, and he's gonna have a network to draw from. But I'm just interested to see how he handles being a head coach on a college level, recruiting on a college level. What he does there. So all in all, for everything that happened, I think this could have been a lot worse. I think this is, I don't grade coaching hires because I don't feel like you can really I accurately give a grade on a guy without seeing him in action unless he's coming from somewhere else. But with a guy that's like this, it's tough to say, but I think that, they, for what they did and what they wanted to do, I think they kind of made the best of it. So, they finally, they ended this situation. Now you can put all of that behind you and move forward. And that's, to me, was the only thing that I was looking forward to, was just getting beyond that part and moving forward. So now it is not about the search no more. Now it's about seeing, Coach Dishman start to put his plan into motion, how he's going to mold this team. Can he keep some of the guys around? Are guys going to buy in? What kind of staff he's going to get? So we're just going to have to wait and see. So at least we got one part out of the way. Now the fun part starts. So with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells. I'm signing out, and I'm going to catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.